In this matchup, we have the balanced and semi-defensive white deck versus the very destructive black deck. Let's draw for white as the white player. We get a Diving Griffin, which is a 3-mana 2/2 with flying and vigilance, so it does not tap when it attacks. A Plane, another Plains. Journey to Nowhere can exile any creature for only 2 mana, and that creature stays exiled as long as this enchantment is on the field. A Welkin Hawk, a 2-mana 1/1 flyer, that when it dies, you get to go to your deck and get another Welkin Hawk. Let's see. Ethereal Armor, a 1-mana enchantment that gives your creature +1/+1 and first strike, and +1 for each enchantment. So you have multiple enchantments, these +1s add up. And lastly, Shelter. It's a 2-mana instant that can give one of your creatures protection from any color. So it's a defensive card and lets you draw a card so it replenishes itself. Not a bad hand because we got 2 mana. 3 is always ideal, but 2 will work. Alright, the black player has already drawn, so we will begin. We're going to let white go first in this case. So white plays a Plains, and it's black turn. They draw, play a Swamp, and pass the turn. White player draws, plays a Plains, and they come out tapping 2 mana to play that Welkin Hawk. 1/1 flyer that if it dies, you get to go get another one. Black player's turn. They draw, play a Swamp, and now with 2 mana they can do something. With 2 mana they are going to tap and play Ravenous Rats. When Ravenous Rats comes into play, target opponent chooses and discards a card from their hand. It's a 1/1 rat, but the white player has to discard a card. It's not exactly that fun to do here, but they're going to go ahead and get rid of... let's get rid of the Journey to Nowhere, which is kind of a defensive card right now. Alright, white player's turn. They draw. Nope, they get another Plane. And this time, they're going to put on... They're not really worried about running into that Rats because the Welkin's flyer, so they're going to tap 3 and play Diving Griffin. It's a 2/2 flyer and does not have to tap when it attacks. They're also going to tap and deal 1 damage with the Welkin Hawk. Let's get a life counter. Alright, the white player will swing with the Welkin Hawk, dealing 1 flying damage, and pass the turn. Black player draws, plays a Swamp, and now decides what they want to do. The black player is going to try to get some better offense on the field. So they're actually going to pay 3 and play Phyrexian Rager. When it's a 2/2, but when it comes to the battlefield, you get to draw a card, but also lose a life. They're okay with losing the life, that's normal, but they like the card draw. Now the Ravenous Rat could attack, but it would just run into this Griffin. They're not going to do that. White player's turn. They draw. White player draws Divine Favor. It's an enchantment that gives your creature +1/+3, and they gain 3 life. So there's that life gain we were talking about that white can do. And at this point, they're going to play their 4th land, and they have a bunch of enchantments. It's time to start putting the enchantments on the creatures to make them more powerful. Now, black player can kill the white creatures pretty easily with instant spells. So that's why we're going to try to hold on to this Shelter, which will allow you to protect your card from someone. So we're going to go ahead and put Divine Favor on one of the birds. Let's put it on the, let's see, sometimes you want to spread out what you have going on. Let's put it on the Welkin Hawk. That way we can spread out how much attack we have. If they kill one of them, we still have 2 damage coming from each of them. So the Welkin Hawk's now a 2/4, which is pretty good. And they're not too afraid of the black player. They have ways of gaining life. Oh, Divine Favor also gives them 3 life, so let's not forget that. White has a little bit of a life advantage here. And they're going to swing with both creatures, the Welkin Hawk and the Griffin, but the Griffin does not tap. These are not flying, so black player will take 4 damage. Alright, it's the black player's turn. Alright, they drew some removal. So now, they definitely want to kill this diving Griffin that's in the way. So, here's what's going to happen. They're going to pay 2 mana to play Doomblade and kill the diving Griffin. However, the white player has a mana open for that Shelter. They have 2 mana available to play Shelter, which gives target creature protection from any color. They're going to say protection from black. That will stop the Doomblade from killing the diving Griffin. Also, the white player with Shelter gets to draw a card. So that's not what black player wanted to see, but that's what happened. With their 2 creatures, they could try to attack, but they would go into the diving Griffin. At this point, the black player was going to try to do a little bit of damage by swinging with their Phyrexian Rager to see if the white player will block. The white player does not want to deal damage, so they're going to take the 2 damage. They do not want to lose their Griffin because they're dealing lots of damage. It's now the white player's turn. Untap, draw, play a land, and let's see here. They can pay 2 mana to play Lone Missionary, which he's just a little 2/1, but when he comes into the battlefield, you gain 4 life. So there's more life for the white player. They are going to use their other 2 mana, to put Ethereal Armor on a creature. They're going to put the Ethereal Armor, which is a +1/+1 in first strike for each enchantment you control. They're going to put it on the diving Griffin. That's going to give him a +1 twice because he has 2 enchantments, so +2/+2, so it's now a 4/4. Flying. Swing with the 4/4, doesn't tap, and swing with the 2/4. That's going to be 6 damage in the air, taking black player down to 8. Black player untaps, draws. They could use more mana, but they're going to have to just play with what they have. They're going to tap 3 and play Phyrexian Broodlings. It's a 2/2 that you can pay a mana, sacrifice a creature, and make them get bigger. Now at this point, if they attack, they will be running into a pretty big first strike diving Griffin. So they're not going to attack. It's white player's turn. They draw a land, play the land, and are going to swing for 6 in the air again. They're going to leave back this guy because there's no point in running him into anything and dying. 6 damage in the air, black cannot stop that. It's now black player's turn. And it looks like GG for the black player. Now they have a guess verdict, which makes the white player sacrifice a creature, but they'll just sacrifice this guy, and on their turn, swing for the win. So there's white beating the black deck. As you see, they just beat it with a lot of aggressive flyers, and they were able to keep their creatures alive with the Shelter card. So you want to keep mana open for that Shelter to protect your creatures and able to deal the damage with them.